Well, good morning and happy Monday. We are live talking about this upcoming week. A little bit of change in the forecast as, of course, today and tomorrow will be a little warm. But by the middle of this week, a cold front moves through, and that'll bring a small chance for rain and some more winter-like air back in our weather for South Texas. Outside right now, though, it is cloudy. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. We'll be live for the next 10 to 20 minutes. Talking all things weather here across San Antonio and all across the state as well. But this morning was cloudy. It wasn't wet. There were a few areas of maybe patchy drizzle, but nothing measurable. Calaveras Lake and the airport still showing gloomy and gray conditions at this hour. And as a matter of fact, we'll talk about the visibility because we still have a few areas of patchy to dense fog east and southeast of San Antonio at this hour. Otherwise, Morgan's Wonderland Camp and also near the medical center, which is near our KENS 5 news station, we're seeing some blue skies and the clouds starting to break apart. But again, if you have any questions, let me know. Today's timeline, just very briefly, we'll probably make it up to about 87 to 88 degrees today, which is way too warm for winter and way too warm for February standards. To put in perspective, this time of year we should be around 68 to 69, maybe 70 at most for an average high in San Antonio in late February. Instead, 87 to 88, which is about 20 degrees above normal. So this is a February heat wave we're in. You know, when you talk about heat waves, you need to have temperatures 5 degrees above average for 5 days. And the last several days, we've seen temperatures way above normal. So I don't want us to call it a heat wave, but it's basically what we're in just because of how warm the temperatures are for where they should be for February. But again, upper 80s for San Antonio, areas out west, if you're watching from Del Rio, Eagle Pass, Cotulla, Carrizo Springs, anywhere along the I-35 corridor towards Laredo. We're looking at probably some lower to middle to maybe some upper 90s this afternoon. It's going to be, I would say it's going to be pretty hot for February coming up today. And that's what the outlook looks like. So the Climate Prediction Center always sends these out, and for the next 6 to 10 days, the overall trend will be above average. You know, Wednesday and Thursday, though, this week, we'll see a cold front move through, and that'll bring a cooler pattern, but briefly, just for a couple days. But the overall reaching pattern in our Texas region looks to be above average, 70s and 80s for the majority of the next 10 days. Of course, there will be a couple days, which you'll see on the 7-day forecast. It'll be cooler, and I think by Wednesday and Thursday you'll need a jacket, maybe a sweater, but of course it will be brief, and by this weekend we'll be back right up near 70 and 80 degrees. Just really quickly, the freeze update. So far this season for winter, December, January, and February, we've seen a total of 9 freezes. Last winter was 10, so we're right around that. And the average normal winter produces about 15 total freezes in San Antonio specifically. The Hill Country, of course, will be a little bit more, probably around 20 to 30 on average winter freezes. And so far for this season, I think since December, we've seen, you know, around 20 to 25 freezes for Kerrville, Fredericksburg, Bandera. So it has been a pretty normal winter for the Hill Country. However, for San Antonio, it's been below average. Now, the latest freeze ever recorded in San Antonio history was back in 1987 on April 3rd. So is it possible we see a freeze in March? Yes, it's possible. But just based on what we're seeing, how warm it is earlier in the season, I mean, it's late February and we're looking at temperatures in the 80s and 90s, which is giving a signal for early onset of spring. Spring officially starts on March 19th. And the fact that we're seeing this many days of consecutive above average temperatures, 80s, 90s in the area, is a trend that I think we'll see in earlier spring. So is it safe to plant, the flowers? Obviously, you could maybe wait a week or two, but right now it's looking more and more likely that spring's coming a little early here in San Antonio. But of course, we'll keep an eye on the forecast and the trends and the model runs and the forecast outlooks, and we'll keep you updated. But right now it's looking like an early spring here in South Texas. Most freezes in one season back in 1967, 43. That's number one. First ranked winter that was pretty cold. All right, 40s, earlier, last month, but now we have 60s and 70s. 71 currently out the door at the airport, 67 at Stinson. We have a south wind at about 11 miles an hour. George saying all about cutting his grass and the trees are blooming. Yeah, I know a lot of folks are saying that as well. It's just the warm temperatures. It's the early onset of spring, warmth and spring heat. And also the sunshine, the wet January we saw earlier last month. I mean, it was the second wettest on record last January. Yes, last month I should say. So it was a wet January, and now we're rebounding on a warm February. So that combination brings about a pretty active blossoming pattern, and I think we'll see an early spring with temperatures again 70s and 80s for the next 7 days for the most part. So a little breezy outside. We'll see occasional gusts near 20 miles an hour this afternoon. Current visibility out the door, it's mostly clear and everywhere across the region, especially across the hill country, but anywhere in eastern San Antonio, eastern Bexar County, there is some lingering fog, some low-level clouds that are slow to break apart. So if you're driving anywhere along I-35 towards I-10 eastbound, you'll run into a little bit of fog. It's starting to break apart, and it'll continue to do so over the next hour or so. Temperature-wise, we're already pretty warm in Bandera near 80, 73 at Hondo, 68 at Lackland, 71 in San Antonio. Upper 60s in southern San Antonio between Stinson, Pleasanton, Floresville at 67 as well. So it's a little cooler if you look at this very closely, where the green contour is more widespread. That's where most of the fog and cloud cover was slow to break apart, which is why the temperatures are a lot cooler. But if you look closely in the hill country, it's a lot warmer because of clear skies, and the sun is really coming down. And temperatures are already in the 80s right now in Rock Springs, Fredericksburg at 83, 79 at Kerrville. So more sunshine out there with some lingering cloud cover in San Antonio, and especially in Seguin, San Marcos, Floresville, and Pleasanton, where the clouds are slowly and gradually breaking apart. South winds 10 to 20 miles an hour, a light breeze out there this afternoon. Highs in the upper 80s, way above normal for this time of year. 87 degrees for a high temperature in San Antonio. Watch this model run anywhere down I-35 towards the Rio Grande, Laredo, Cotulla, Eagle Pass, Del Rio. We're looking at middle to upper 90s, which, by the way, I think the record in Del Rio today is probably 100 degrees, so I don't think we're going to break any records in Del Rio. But we'll have to watch Cotulla, Carrizo Springs, and Eagle Pass, because I'm sure that'll be near, maybe challenging some record heat numbers in areas southwest of San Antonio. Today's record, I think, we can double check that. I think we have a graphic that says that. So today's record is 90, I think that was yesterday's record. We'll have to double check that. If today's record's 91, then we may get close to that, but today's high will be around 87 to 88 degrees. So probably the daily records for San Antonio on this date are in the lower 90s. So still, regardless, warm for this time of year in some areas, pretty hot in the middle to upper 90s this afternoon around 4 and 5 o'clock. Okay, so tomorrow morning, another round of some patchy morning fog. It's not going to be as widespread, and I think part of that is because of the wind speeds. They'll be a little breezy overnight, maybe some reduced visibility between here in Hondo down Highway 90 towards the hill country on I-10. A few areas tomorrow morning, 7, 8 a.m. Tuesday morning, down to a half a mile, very similar to this morning, but not as widespread around the area. Okay, satellite and radar. Clouds are starting to break apart, so is the fog. So we're going to see a sunny and clear day with highs again in the upper 80s. Out farther west towards California, if you look very closely, a spinning area of cloud cover, and this is our next system. Now, while it is bringing some heavy rain for California and the western half of the country, Arizona, New Mexico, and parts of Southern California, it's going to weaken as it moves across the states later this week, tomorrow and Wednesday. And watch how that unfolds. You'll see by about Tuesday night, it moves into Las Vegas, the western half of the country. Wednesday and Thursday, it moves across the Rockies, but it really weakens. And with some energy around, some energy present, that'll produce a little bit more cloud cover and a weak front that moves through on Wednesday. So today and tomorrow, a little bit of clouds, sunshine, high temperatures, upper 80s, near 90. It's going to be warm. But on Wednesday, that's when the front moves through. Around Wednesday morning, that'll bring a northerly wind, drop the humidity down in quite a bit, and create gusty winds near 20 to 30 miles an hour. So Wednesday and Thursday, breezy to windy at times, a mix of clouds and sunshine, and maybe a few sprinkles here and there. But most of the measurable rain either west of San Antonio or farther east. We may be clipped by a sprinkle or a light shower Wednesday and Thursday, maybe Friday morning, otherwise pretty dry, and most of the rain materializing along the coast and towards western Louisiana through the end of this week. And clouds will return by the weekend, but right now the rain chance doesn't look all that great. Here's the rainfall forecast and rain accumulation. San Antonio really not in the realm or vicinity of accumulating rainfall. Anywhere from San Angelo to Dallas to Louisiana is where most of the rain will form. Right now, San Antonio remaining pretty dry, a little bit of cloud cover here and there, and some cooler weather on the way. So today and tomorrow, warm, even near hot in some areas, upper 80s near 90. Wednesday, 61, cloudy skies, so about a 25-degree drop in temperatures from Tuesday to Wednesday. You'll need the jacket, maybe a light sweater, maybe a couple layers early Wednesday and early Thursday morning as lows drop down into the 40s. Highs will struggle to get out of the 50s on Thursday. It will be chilly Wednesday, Thursday, and some parts of Friday, mainly in the morning. But by Friday and Saturday afternoon, highs back in the 70s and 80s. So big takeaway, yes, there is a rain chance on Thursday, but it will be cooler. A brief break in this spring-like pattern for the first, at least last couple of days of February. Last day of February is Thursday, and that is Leap Day, the extra day on our calendar. Guadalupe, good morning. Thank you so much. Ready for some cooler weather, of course. George asking about my big day. Yes, I'm ready. It is about a few weeks away, and we're hoping for good weather. Hopefully temperatures will be in the 70s and 80s for that big day. But of course, we'll cross our fingers for that. But Guadalupe, thank you so much for your kind words. And of course, good morning to everyone. And of course, we're ready for the cooler weather. You can see it'll be a lot cooler and a little chilly on Thursday. From 45 to 56 in the afternoon, 61 on Wednesday and 71 on Friday. So, winter coming back for a couple days, mainly on Wednesday and Thursday, the middle of this week. Otherwise, any surrounding days between now and Tuesday and from Friday into the weekend, it'll be warm, it'll be mild, it'll be above average for winter. So enjoy Thursday. It will be a little chilly and a little wet, 20% on some patchy rain, nothing severe. Just a few light showers here and there. Otherwise, enjoy the roller coaster of temperatures as highs go from the 80s on Tuesday to the 50s on Thursday. All right, that's it for weather, guys. We'll be on live in the next 20 minutes on KENS 5 News at noon for the latest on everything you need to know around San Antonio. So tune in to KENS 5 News at noon. We'll be here live. For now, we'll leave it on the 7-day a little longer. Hope you have a wonderful Monday, and we'll see you later. And stay cool in this warm pattern. Upper 80s through Tuesday with some cooler weather on the way for Wednesday, Thursday. Highs in the 50s on Thursday, so it'll be a little chilly by the middle of this week. Have a great Monday, and we'll see you later, guys.